After graduating from law school in 1959, I joined the Miller Firm and Sanford Law Firm and was there for 6 years. In '65, opened my own law office on the Plaza South in Springfield, and then joined with John Crow, my law classmate, for Hamra and Crow for 5 years at Glintstone Square, and then eventually moved to Hamra Plaza, 27,500 square foot office building here in Springfield. My father had a clothing store in Steele, Missouri, in Boot Hill, Missouri, and he sold clothing to cotton pickers and cotton choppers in the Boot Hill. A sharecropper's son by the name of Roy Harper started working for my dad at age 14, doing menial work, task force. Eventually, Dad worked him up to a salesman. He eventually went to the University of Missouri, law school, graduated. He became a Democrat powerhouse in the Boot Hill and in Missouri. And he had a great deal to do with Harry Truman's re-election as U.S. Senator in 1940. After Harry Truman was elected vice president and then became president after President Roosevelt died, one of his first appointments was Roy Harper to be federal district judge in St. Louis. He continued to visit my father all these years, and when he did, he'd visit with me and always encouraged me to go to law school. I graduated from law school. It was the first thing that milestone that I crossed. That was a big thing. And my wife had a lot to do with that because we were married in '56, and she certainly encouraged me all the time to get my law degree, in which I did. And then once having my law degree, I had a couple of cases that helped me have my first jury trial in Galena, Missouri, and won a case probably I wasn't supposed to win, a collection case, and in turn was able to get me hired by the city of Nixa to be their city attorney in 1966, and eventually was responsible for building their electrical distribution system there. And so that was a big stepping stone for me. Getting the electrical distribution system built in Nixa, the city of Nixa. That was after a lot of lawsuits, litigation. It went all the way up to the President Johnson. The other power companies wanted him to order the Attorney General, U.S. Attorney General, to stop building it. Because I had helped U.S. Senator Stuart Simon in previous elections, I called him and asked him if he would stay neutral. He agreed to do it. So when the President Johnson asked the utility companies and their attorneys in his office if they had the support of Senator Ed Long and U.S. Senator Stuart Simon, they reported they had U.S. Senator Ed Long, but not Senator Simon, who was staying neutral. President Johnson told them, since you don't have both U.S. senators supporting this, I'm not going to order the U.S. Attorney General to stop this building of the electrical distribution system. That's how we got it built. Cox Hospital was located in southern Springfield, and across the street was a community hospital and 40 acres owned by Hospital Corporation of America. And as a result, they were going to sell it to another competing hospital. And I was able to persuade them to let us make a proposal on behalf of Cox. As a result of that, Cox Hospital was able to expand where it has now an orthopedic hospital facility. It has a Myers training center. It has a surgery center. It has other facilities of Cox Hospital. They've been able to expand dramatically because of that. They otherwise would not have, so I felt very good about that. June and I were married in April 1, 1956. And we were married 5 years, didn't think we'd have children, so we adopted a little 21-month-old boy. 2 years later, we adopted a little infant girl. 5 years later, June got pregnant with Mike. And we tell everybody we finally learned how to do it. So 2 years later, she got pregnant with Jackie. So we're very proud of our children. My son Mike and my grandson John are both in the business with me. I'll tell you what Mike does. He's the president and CEO of Hamra Enterprises, where we have 163 restaurants and a couple of hotels and some other real estate projects in Missouri, Illinois, Massachusetts, and Texas. And then Jackie is an attorney in D.C. She was 13 years with the CFTC, and she's now Senior Vice President and Director of International Relations for the Future Industry Association.
If you had to summarize your life's work in a single word, what word would you choose and why?
Charitable. And I say that because I believe in what Danny Thomas, one of my mentors, said. I got to know Danny Thomas years ago when I was active in the Southern Federation of Syrian Lebanese American Clubs. He's Lebanese, I'm Lebanese. This time, Danny Thomas told me, he said, when my term is over as president of the Federation, he wanted me to go on the board of St. Jude's General Research Hospital, which I did. And then I later Cox Health Board and became president there. But during this time that I knew Danny Thomas, one of the things he always said was, success has nothing to do with your gain, gift of life, or accomplishment of yourself. It is what you do for others that's important for you to do. And I've always tried to remember that. So even though I've been blessed by the good Lord for having been successful in business and the law practice, I've always felt an obligation to give back to the people in need in the community. My legacy should be left to my wife, if I predecease her, and my 4 children, my 10 grandchildren, and my 3 great-grandsons, and over 5,000 employees that work with me. I want them to have the feeling that I was interested in giving them guidance so they could succeed in life, and also set a pattern so that they would understand that whatever they succeeded in doing and accomplishing, they would give back to their community and help those people that were in need, as I was able to do. My father came over from Lebanon in 1913, 15 years old. And he lived with an uncle and brothers in Missouri, opened his own store in 1919. He worked hard, and he was well disciplined. He took care of the people that worked for him, took care of the customers, patted them on the back when they came in, or shook their hands, thanked them for coming in. And the only enjoyment he had that I recall outside of his work and his family was on Wednesday night. He would go to his Rotary Club and then go to a movie and then come home. And he would read his Wall Street Journal every night. Besides that, he would read his Wall Street Journal and his sports magazine. And he educated himself by working hard and educating himself, and he became successful in the business, and he became successful in stock purchases, real estate. He bought real estate in the community. And then he left in his will and trust instructions from me as the trustee and executor to build a community center for the community. I think that it was important that I give my wife, June, credit. She helped me a great deal with her discipline. Whenever I was in law school, she helped me. If I was going to present something, I would review it with her and she would critique it. Later on, when I was able to have speeches or talks, she would critique them. Whenever I was getting ready to make an investment, I would review it with her, get her advice. So she was a big help to me. I had some mentors along the way. Of course, my dad, John Miller, senior partner of the law firm I was with, John Holston, who was the senior lawyer here in Springfield. The law school at the University of Missouri is now named after him. John A. Morris. These all have been mentors of mine over the years, and I certainly respected them for that. Well, let me say this to you. I've always enjoyed working, and I enjoy it with people. I enjoy working with my people. I'm here 5 days a week. I'm here late at night. I might go, if we're not out on a social or charitable engagement, I will come back to the office and work anywhere from midnight to 3 in the morning. I work on, this weekend I worked all day Saturday. I work Sunday afternoon, and I enjoy it because, I could tell my son, you do it, and I don't want to do it, but I don't want to do that. I don't want to, why would I want to take away my enjoyment? Working is my enjoyment.